So, growing up Italian American, it was an adventure, and let's see, you had to get your friends accustomed to your family. Like when they came in, your friends had to get used to being asked to eat, to wanting to eat something like 6, 7, or 8 times. My mom, and they would learn the word mangia right away. Let's see, they would have to get used to the noise level in the house. It was always loud, and the fact that language didn't always work with the mouth. In an Italian American family, language worked with gestures as well. No one just spoke with their mouth, but they spoke with their hands, and there was not that much speaking going on, but as much as yelling, in the household. But you had to get used to that. The yelling wasn't a malicious yelling, but it was just something that was done, and it took time for my
like,
family.
and I love you yelling.
Right. But go ahead, you share some things.
Oh, I see. I didn't grow up as Italian as the Mister. The Mister grew up spending his summers in Italy. So every year in June, he would, right as school ended, he would leave and spend the whole summer in Italy with his family, because his mom is one of 8 girls, right? And they all lived in Italy. And his father was one of 5, and they also were all from Italy. Only one of his sisters lived here. My family was all here, so I grew up more Italian American, but we realized as we met that there were a lot of things that we had in common. So like one of the things, if you're going to marry into an Italian family, you better be available Sundays at 1 o'clock to 4, because you're going to eat all that time, every Sunday.
Sunday dinner was something
you can't plan anything else.
Growing up Italian American, you always felt like you had to explain things to your friends when they came over. That's why my big thing is always anecdotal things. Like you had to explain, to your friends why half your backyard was tomatoes and cucumbers and basil. You had to explain to your friends.
It still is.
Yeah, it still is. Right. Why you might have like 4 chickens running around in the backyard, or
Garlic hanging.
yeah, like a typical family might have Tupperware to store their foods, their leftover foods. But in an Italian American family, you probably had like palio, ricotta cheese containers, and that's what they use to store things over. So there's a lot of things that you would have to explain to your friends. So like, how about in some of your cultures? Like, what are some things that you had to explain to your friends because it was different than the culture that was out there, in society, in America, in your town, in Merrick. Mine was Long Beach. Anything different?
Why I have pans in my oven?
All right. Yeah. Why do you have pans in the oven?
Because that's the place where they have meat.
That's great. Yeah. In my thing, it's like you didn't cut the lawn in the backyard. You didn't plant grass. You would plant tomato plants, or peppers or something.
Why would you have
like
grass
that.
when you can have tomatoes?
Right.
I have to explain why you don't talk. It's completely silent when you're eating.
Oh, silent when you're eating, right? Yeah. Well, right. And an Italian comes into your household, be like, "What's the matter with you guys? You like each other?" Yeah.
Why aren't you yelling at each other?
Yeah. Don't you love each other?